to buy a piece of land in Pretoria and put up a shopping center there. Do I want to join them? So I said, right. So, of course, I said, all right. So we bought this piece of land. And today it's Menlyn.
Menlyn?
Yes.
Mall?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. It's massive, eh?
Yeah, so we put up Menlyn Mall. And those days, I even brought people from
Do you still
America.
own it? Or like you left that?
Pardon?
You left that business long ago? Or do you still own it?
No. I just put it up. We built it and
okay.
put it up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I was a shareholder.
Wow.
It was what, obviously, you know, if in today, we're talking about the early 70s.
Yes.
When, you know, when Menlyn was sold, I think I got 400,000 rands. Today, I mean, that would be 40 million today.
Wow.
But I mean, in those days, that was a lot of money.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You could buy a house for I don't know, for 15,000 rands. You could buy a house.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so then I practiced as a consulting engineer, and I was a shareholder of many buildings after that. And, you know, and then in 1980, my wife, who I loved very much, and unfortunately, we separated, and my two boys stayed with me. So I had Elon and Kimball at home with me, and I had to look after them. So I sold my practice to the engineers that worked for me, and I moved on to doing only projects for special clients like Hyperama and ISCO.
Yeah.
You know, only special projects did I work on after that.
Yeah.
And so more or less I lived on the shareholdings that I had. You know, we bought a horse farm and everything. And because I was a single parent, so I took my two boys, Elon and Kimball, to school. That's one thing I'm proud of.
Yeah.
People say, are you proud? I say, I'm very happy that they've done well, Elon and Kimball. But what I'm proud of is I took them to school every day and back for their whole school career.
Yeah.
You know, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the morning, afternoon. And if you know what that's like, you know, you come back in the afternoon, then you got to go back again for
Soccer,
sport, and then for extra lessons, and then for this, then for that, then for this.
And you're all alone this time?
No, I was all alone, but I lived in Sandton on I bred horses, you know. So it was very nice. We had a wonderful time at that time.
So when does the mine start come? When does that
what
happen?
happened was, that's much later. In about 1985, you may recall that there was a lot of pressure on South Africa to end apartheid.
Yes.
And as it happened, in my work that I was doing, I knew all these people. P.W. Botha, who was Prime Minister or President, his daughter often stayed with us. And his wife, Elise, often came to our home, you know, to visit. She used to bring flowers to us. She had a very nice home in Pretoria. Today, our home is, where Elon grew up, is the residence of the European ambassador to Southern Africa.
Wow.
So that's the home we had.
Yeah.
So I bought that house when I was 26. So it gives you some idea
of
how well I was doing.
Yes.
I bought a house like that when I was
Jeez.
26. And today it's probably one of the best houses in Pretoria. It belongs, it's used by the European Union now.
Yeah.
It used to be the headquarters of the United Nations in Southern Africa. Anyway, so in 1985, as I say, I knew a lot of these people. I knew most of the cabinet ministers, and I used to have lunch with them about once a week. You know, sometimes they would invite me to lunch, and I used to argue with them about the circumstances. Everybody was trying to find a solution to South Africa in those days. It's wrong to think that the guys were not trying to find a solution. You know, everybody was trying to find a solution. Nobody knew what to do. You have to remember what we had in South Africa. We inherited from the European countries. If you look at it, actually, we inherited South Africa from the European countries, Britain and everything. You know, they gave us all the rules. You know. Anyway, so in '85, everybody was trying hard to decide what to do, and so my partner that I had at that time, not in consulting engineering but in property development, he said he can't take it anymore, and he left for America. He went in '81. And anyway, so in '85, P.W. Botha said, he made a speech in Parliament called a speech that was what speech was it called again? Anyway, it was some sort of speech that he made that there will never be a black government in South Africa. We've decided now we're going on like this, you see? And the result was massive pressure from overseas. And so the kind of work I was in, people were not interested in anymore. So as you see now how much development takes place up there in Joburg now, and even in Cape Town, but then it just stopped. Everything stopped because no one wanted to put their money down, to develop anything. I mean, you can understand. Everybody was scared.
Yeah.
And then my type of work just stopped. But not only, although I was living on money I had, it was hard for me too. And so I had a very big airplane at that time. Well, big, small airplane.
Yeah.
A big twin-engine business aircraft that could fly as high as the jets and as the airlines. And I tried to sell it because I thought, we're not using it. And before that, I used to get charter work on it. But anyway, I couldn't. So then I phoned a company in England, and they said if I bring it there, they'll give me a good price for it.
Okay.
So I set off to England with the plane, and when we were near, our next leg on the flight was to Jeddah in Arabia,
Yeah.
And then they told us on the telex. Those days we just had telex. I don't know if you know what telex is.
No.
It's like internet email, but it's the olden days one. It comes on a little paper.
Yeah.
They told us that we can't come. If we come now to Jeddah, they're having a Eid, which is a Muslim festival, some kind of where thousands of people come. And then if we come, we're going to have to pay $2,000 to land and $600 US to park every day. So I thought, well, no, that's too much. So we decided, but they said if we come back in 10 days' time, we don't have to pay to land, and they'll give us fuel at 5 cents US a liter.
Jeez.
So I said, okay. So we turned around and we went to Lake Tanganyika to have a look, Now, Lake Tanganyika is 900 kilometers long, 200 kilometers wide. It's unbelievable. So it's from Cape Town to Bloemfontein long. Anyway, so we flew there, and then I landed at a newly built airfield, and I met a company that was registered in Panama, Italians that were building roads, and they'd actually built this airfield as well for the Zambian government. And I told them, they asked me about the plane, and I said, well, I'm going to sell it in England. And then they said, well, if you sell it to us, we'll take it, you see.
Okay.
So I said, all right, fine. So they paid me the same money. And then we stayed with them for a few days. And then they said to us, if I give them half the money back,
Yeah.
then they will give me half their shares in an emerald mine. And then they promptly presented me with about 118, as I recall, 118 cut emeralds.
Yeah.
Zambian emeralds, and said, you can have these as a deposit. And then we will also...
These are the Italian guys.
They were giving me that. They said, if I give them half the money back, they will give me these emeralds. They're all cut. And then I'd never seen an emerald, actually, before that. And, I knew what an emerald was, but I'd never seen it. And they said, they'll give me these, and then they'll give me rough emerald from the mine on a regular basis. So I said, okay, that's fine. So I gave them half the money back, and I took the emeralds, and then I started selling the emeralds when I came back to South Africa. And I found it was hard at first, but I found if you go to the very top jewelers, you have to find the very top jewelers, and then you can sell the emeralds quite easily to the rich people, the people overseas and all that sort of stuff, because they cost a lot of money, the emeralds, and they're very nice jewelry, So I sold emeralds for years. I eventually got a cutter in Elof Street in Johannesburg to do cutting and polishing of emeralds for me. And I sold emeralds everywhere in England, Europe, Germany.
That's madness, eh?
Austria.
Yeah.